All right, this is Atlas's 11th film session. I'm just gonna pet him real quick, make sure he's cool with me still touching him, feed him, and then get ready to start this new lesson. So I do work with him in between sessions. I do film other ones that are just, it's the same thing, so it's really boring. So I just want to kind of show you guys when we're working on something new or if we've made like a decent amount of progress. So today, like, I want to work on just touching him under his chin and then like working with touching him with 2 hands so we can prep for halter work and putting a halter on him. So he's pretty good with 1 hand here. I can touch him all on his forehead and on his cheek, and I can get a little bit under his jaw, but really where his muzzle is right here. So I touched him, so I'm gonna click him and feed him. And then I'm gonna speed up the parts where he's eating just so this video doesn't get super long. But he just had a fear of me touching underneath there, and he was really worried when I wanted to put the rope halter up over his nose. So I really want to work on that part. So I'm just going to wait for him here. I'm just going to move the bowl a little bit. I'm just kind of getting him away from that panel because I don't want him to back up into the panel and scare himself. See, he's a little worried here, so I'm like, that's all right. You can move your head away, and I'll just ask again. So I'm just going to kind of stay with him, start a little higher, a little further back, and then just kind of barely. And then I kind of, when I clicked that time, it wasn't as far down on the chin as it was the first time, because this time I tried to touch him, he was more worried. So I'm going to start at a little bit further back spot so I don't get him so worried that he can't stand there and just allow me to barely touch him, because then I'm going to be clicking for the behaviors that I don't want, where he's turning his head away and being worried, and I don't want worry in the behavior. So I'm just going to start a little bit further back than I was and work my way back up. So I want everything to be positive. So wait for him to be done chewing. I'm going to work up here, kind of rub my way down his jaw and touch him right there and click him. Perfect. That was really good. That's what I'm looking for, is him just kind of stay there, and then I can touch under his jaw with 1 hand and he stays nice and relaxed. So I'm just going to go back a step if he gets worried, because I don't want to force my hand there and he leaves, and I don't want to click a lot of times when he's moving his head around and not doing behavior the way I want. I don't want to build in any anxiety. So again, I'm starting up here, kind of working my way down. Click him there. He's kind of moving his head around. I think that's a little bit to do with the flies. Where he's really turning away is definitely him going away from my hand, but you kind of have to read your horse and kind of tell when he's just trying to get a fly or if he's worried about the situation. We're going to kind of do the same thing on the other side here. Right there, click him. And feed him. I just have that crop in my hand I'm using as a target, not a whip. It's very short too, so just in case I need to move him around or something, I just don't want him to get worried and then end up backing into the panels and scaring himself or something like that. So I just want to have that in case I need to move him. If he wants to move himself, that's fine. And again, I'm just doing the same thing I did on this side, kind of stroking down his neck. And then I want to work on a little bit of 2-hand stuff, because 2 hands are much scarier than 1. So I'm just going to wait for him. And if he wants to turn, that's all right. I'm just going to go back on the side I was at and ask again. Just barely click him right there. And then I'll go ahead and feed him. And I'm just moving him over a little bit so the camera, he's like centered in front of the camera. So I've done a little bit of 2-hand touching with him previously. So I want to, he really needs to have both skills. So I can have that. But I'm just going to move him over so we can see him. He really needs to be able to touch on under the chin and then allow me to touch him with both hands so I can get the halter on him. But I'm just kind of breaking those down into little pieces so he can work through those and then be comfortable with it, and then add in the halter and add them all together later. Okay, work on 2 hands on this side. He's better on this left side. I have like a habit of working on this left side a little bit too much, so I need to remind myself to always do the other side so he's even and he's cool with me being on the right side and touching him on that side as well. you can get into the habit of just working on the left really easy. And you'll notice it more if you have a Mustang, because they'll show you more. Domestic horse is not going to show you as much because they're domestic and they're going to be a little bit calmer to things. But if I come around to his other side and try to do something new, he's going to really be worried about it. So I'll start off with one hand and be like, look, it's now I'm just adding in another one. Not a big deal. And at this point, I can't fly spray him, so click him there, because I had both hands on him, and he was just keeping his head still, so that's perfect. So he doesn't have any fly spray on. He's obviously still very wild, so that's why he has so many bugs. I'm just let him eat through here, and then I also do pretty short sessions with him. If he wants to walk away, that's fine. He usually comes back. I want him to have somewhat of a choice here. So I'll just ask him to target here. And he touches it. Great. So I just want him to end on a good behavior. And then we'll work on the chin touching a little bit later.